Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear first year students. Today we have the topic of writing, how to establish coherence in your paragraphs. First, we will start with highlighting the goals of this lecture. So by the end of this lecture, you will be able to identify paragraph structure, what is meant by the introduction, the body, and also the conclusion. Also, you will be able to know what is meant by coherence. And finally, you will learn about some writing techniques to help you write coherent paragraphs, how to establish coherence in your writings. Uh, we will start by a review of the definition or how to define the paragraph. So, a paragraph is a series of sentences that are organized and coherent and are all related to a single topic. Almost every piece of writing you do that is longer than a few sentences should be organized into paragraphs. This is because paragraphs show to the reader where the subdivisions of an essay begin and end, and thus help the reader see the organization of the essay and grasp its main points. Paragraphs can contain many kinds of information. A paragraph could contain a series of brief uh, examples. It might describe a place, character, or process. It, it might narrate a series of events, compare or contrast two or more things, and also it may classify items into categories or describe causes and effects. I'm going to skip the topic of topic sentence. I'm not going to discuss it because we discussed it earlier many times. So I'm going to save time and efforts. I'm not going to discuss the topic sentence and how to write it. The paragraph structure. Most paragraphs in an essay have a three-part structure. These are the introduction, the body, and also the conclusion. You can see this structure in paragraphs whether they are narrating, describing, comparing, or contrasting, or analyzing information. Each part of the paragraph plays an important role, دور مهم, in communicating your meaning to your reader. Now let's start. Introduction. The introduction, it is the first section of the paragraph. It should include the topic sentence and any other sentences at the beginning of the paragraph that give background information or provide a transition. The body follows the introduction. It discusses the controlling idea um, by using facts, arguments, analysis, examples, and other information. The body almost means the supporting sentences as you now read, the facts, the analysis, the examples, as I told you before, and other informations. These uh, mean the supporting sentences. And finally, we have what? The conclusion. This is the final section, الجزء النهائي أو الجزء الأخير. It summarizes what? The connections between the information discussed in the body of the paragraph and the paragraph's controlling idea. This is the conclusion. In the I've already uploaded to you a Word file. In this file, or in that file, sorry, uh, I uploaded to you two paragraphs. The first paragraph, which is called or entitled Faith and the Scientist. Faith and the Scientist, this paragraph highlights the parts or the structure, the paragraph structure, the introduction, body, and conclusion. You can read it and know how to write and how to highlight the introduction, body, and conclusion. So now we move to discuss coherence. In a coherent paragraph, each sentence relates closely to the topic sentence or controlling idea. But there is more to coherence than this. If a paragraph is coherent, each sentence flows smoothly into the next without obvious shifts or jumps. A coherent paragraph also highlights the ties between old and new information to make the structure of ideas or arguments clear to the reader. Along with the smooth flow of sentences, a paragraph's coherence may also be related to its length. So let us say, for example, if you have written a very long paragraph, you should check it carefully to see if it should start a new paragraph um, where the original paragraph wanders from its controlling idea. And on the other hand, if a paragraph is very short, only one or two sentences perhaps, and by the way, many of you did this, only writing one or two sentences, considering it as a uh, full paragraph. You may need to develop its controlling idea more thoroughly or combine it with another paragraph. Another technique, or let us say a number of techniques that we have um, that you can use to establish coherence in your paragraphs. Repeat keywords or phrases. Repeating keywords or phrases, uh, especially in paragraphs in which you define or identify an important idea or theory, be consistent in how you refer to it. This consistency and repetition will bind the paragraph together and help your reader understand your definition or description of that theory, or let us say that idea. Also, you can create parallel structures, تراكيب متوازية. Parallel structures are created by constructing two or more phrases or sentences that have the same grammatical structure and use the same parts of speech. By creating parallel structures, you make your sentences clearer and easier to read. Also, you can be consistent in point of view, verb tense, and number. This type of consistency in these parts, or in these, let us say, sides, your point of view in the tenses and also in number, are important aspect of coherence. And if you have if you have an inconsistency, sorry, and this would confuse your readers. If you, for example, jump from past to present tenses, or shifting from, um, let us say, more personal to the more impersonal pronouns or words. Also, you can use transition words or phrases between sentences and between paragraphs. By the way, I uh, wrote to you in the file that I uploaded to you in the classroom, a table or a list of transition words that indicate some of, let us say, some of the words, some of the, let us say, some of the um, indications, some of the words, some of the useful transitions between uh, sentences that, for example, in the that show addition, that give examples, compare or contrast, summary, to show time, to indicate logical relationships, also to suggest or to show place, and etc. These all of these words, and at the end of the file, that all of them you can choose and use in your writing. Thank you very much for your listening.